Explanations to school children for why Russia invaded Ukraine began from just about the first days of the war, acting as a sort of preventative on-the-ground influencing campaign.
The Ukrainian government, as far back as 2016, were preparing an assault to bomb and destroy Donbass, and then to attack Russia itself.
As early as March, children were encouraged to write letters to the front. I want to say thank you very much for protecting our country, Russia. For the mother of a 10-year-old girl, the refusal to write such a letter soon forced her out of the country. Diana from Kyiv now finds herself in Germany with her child. The volunteer Sergei Pinyagin helps Russian teachers to obtain political asylum. It was Sergei who told us about Diana's story, as she herself is currently too afraid to speak openly about what happened.
Towards the end of May, she was summoned to the principal's office. There was also someone else there, a large man listening quietly in the corner. The principal began talking about the refusal to write a letter, emphasizing the importance of military education, saying that the kids should be on the front line helping and supporting the effort, and that they should be educating future patriots. At that point, the large, previously silent man, who'd never introduced himself, confiscates her phone, makes her unlock it, explaining that if she, as a mother, cannot raise her daughter as a patriot, the government is forced to do it instead. The message was clear. Hi everyone, I'm here to bring you some letters. At some point in June, when the holidays began, she left with her daughter to see their grandparents in the countryside. Soon after, her neighbors called, saying that somebody was looking for her. First, a local police officer had come by, and then some workers from an adoption agency came over to check on her daughter's living conditions.
In another month, Diana was summoned to appear as a suspect. From the documents, it is, however, somewhat unclear what exactly she was suspected of.
Now here we've got some paper airplanes with a message.
Both parents and teachers have been hounded for halt and anti-war stances. While some teachers lost their jobs, others, instructed by orders from above, arranged patriotic lessons and visits from those who had already fought in Ukraine for the children. They showed photos and videos. They lined up the students in the shape of the letter Z. From the start of this academic year, it will be especially impossible to get away from this patriotic education. This is how each Monday will begin in every Russian school. And once a month, also on a Monday, a special lesson will be held to discuss important issues. The Ministry of Education described in detail the topics, scenarios, and special video clips planned for each lesson. This first special discussion will take place on September 5th and will be dedicated to the Day of Knowledge. Most of all, teachers and parents were concerned about the upcoming topic of our country, Russia. More precisely, not exactly the topic itself, but the content that was to be discussed.
The feeling of patriotism and the responsibility for the fate of the motherland has always inherently been present in the Russian person.
The Ministry of Education presents the special military operation as a perfect representation of Russian patriotism. Children will be told about NATO bases and that it is, in fact, the West collectively that is to blame for the mass casualties in Ukraine. It is separately proposed to discuss the exploits of Russian soldiers, but not those that were in Bucha or Irpin. Maybe this was the initiative of our principal especially, but she did say that she would be monitoring the lessons which will be happening at the same time across the entire school, making sure to listen to what we are discussing with the children and how appropriately we are conveying the information. The topics are planned out until the end of the year, including a day celebrating teachers, the birthday of Konstantin Tsiolkovsky, and naturally the topic of traditional family values. In the lesson, it is specifically emphasized that a family is when a woman marries a man and they have children. as designed by the Ministry of Education, this lesson should mold real Russian patriots. Naturally, heated discussions began in parental group chats and forums on what effect this might have on the children's psyche and how this might affect their autonomy. Glory to the Soviet Army! The army is victorious! Glory to the Soviet people! The Soviet people are victorious! Who are your grandfathers? Our grandfathers are the victors! Whose grandchildren are you? We are the grandchildren of the victors! What is the cross? The cross is a weapon and symbol against sin and death. What is fear? When there is no love. What is envy? When there is no love. What is love? Love is sacrifice.
Полгода мы ведем данное.
We were also told today that after 6 months of this regime, there will be a review of how capably these teachers are conveying the information to the students. After that, a decision will be made. Either we will continue teaching the same lessons for 6 months, or the duty will be passed on to other teachers.
Либо это будет передано другим учителям.
In the official Telegram channel titled Important Discussions, there are detailed instructions provided on what to do if students miss these important lessons. Marina from St. Petersburg went into school to discuss a possible new or different lesson. I asked the question, is there any legal possibility of not attending these lessons? Can I write some sort of note or testify that it goes against my principles? In response, I was told that they were not interested in my principles, just like that. I was then told, in quite forceful terms, that this is a public government school with a particular set of standards handed down to them, which they have to follow and all of that. That was it. Yet still, teachers and psychologists are telling parents to go to schools, talk to teachers and look for a way out, or at least to work around together, and most importantly, to keep talking to their kids.
The academic year has begun in Ukraine as well, but only for half of the schools. If in Russia, school children find themselves under ideological pressure, then in Ukraine it is not safe for them to attend school at all. More than 2,000 schools suffered from military strikes during the 6 months of the war.
It's complete barbarism for which there's no reasonable explanation. Putin seems like a schizophrenic or something like that. A psychiatrist would know better than me. But this conduct barely qualifies as a war. It is a complete extermination of a people. Well, look, about 2,500 schools in Ukraine have been damaged, 284 of them being destroyed completely. What's more, this is being done intentionally. They believe, or they want those consuming their media sources to think they believe, that there are troops stationed in those schools. There are no troops stationed in those schools at all. 284 schools in Ukraine have been turned into rubble, and these children have nowhere to study at all. In general, this is the extermination of an entire people. All Ukrainians understand this very well. But this is the madness of Putin. People like that you have to remove and separate from society.
In the new academic year, Ukrainian children, in addition to their regular backpacks with textbooks and notebooks, will have to carry a second backpack in case of an air raid. This should contain a bottle of clean water, energy bars and nutritious snacks, a favorite toy or personal memento, and a change of underwear and clothes. Children are the most helpless victims of this war. In the past 6 months, at least 382 children were killed in Ukraine, with 236 still missing.